All right, so Microsoft just did a bunch of different announcements here. I skimmed over them, read through the stuff that I found most interesting. So I don't have a lot of detail for you guys, and I'll leave it up to you to read the articles at the news stories of your choice. I'm going to go over a few things for you. Um, First and foremost, and most noticeably um, pandering, I might say, Windows 10. If you have Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, you can upgrade to Windows 10 free of charge. I don't know the details of how that works, other than you probably have to have a fully licensed copy. Um, I think it's a smart move, but I'm also wary of it because I upgraded to Windows XP from Windows 98, and it never felt like it worked the way that it should. I feel like when I moved on to a PC that had a full copies of XP on it, it worked much better. So I don't know that if that's true. That's just based on experience, and it's purely conjecture on my part. I hope that it works out, and I think it's a great way to get an adopt rate for people. Why this is important? Because lots of people already have Windows 7 or Windows 8 in their homes, and Windows 10 will allow you to stream Xbox One content, games, and presumably media to those devices, whether it's a tablet or a PC or a laptop. And I would assume in time any Windows phones that may or may not come out. I'm hoping that they see that. Um, as far as I can tell, no additional fees involved, that sort of thing. So it's a good idea. I think it's smart, but it is also selling software. It is selling hardware, which is an unintelligent move. It's just that you look at Sony's view in a similar marketplace is to sell service versus hardware. Meaning, like if you look at remote play, for example, okay, you buy a PS4, you have the ability to remote play on a Vita if you own one, and with Xperia phones, you can remote play on the phone at no extra charge. Xperia tablets, no extra charge, and in a short period of time, virtually any Android device, which you can emulate on a computer for at no cost. So really, Sony's already there, but you can do it on a wider range of machines, regardless of your operating system, for the most part. But they're not there yet, so I don't want to say, well, Sony is doing it better. I think that once all that's in place, I think it's a smarter move to go with the Sony ecosystem for that reason alone. Um, it doesn't concern me at all. I think it's a great move for Microsoft since you have an Xbox One and you want to have that access. That's amazing. You'll be able to do it. I just don't think it's necessarily a competitive move because if I were looking at Xbox One and PS4, I would not gravitate towards Xbox One over this. It'd be like, well, it's similar, it's nice. But part of the reason I like console gaming so much, and part of the reason I've been pushing for DLNA and other features on the PS4 is I really have no desire to sit and fiddle with my computer. I am going, pardon me, to be building a new computer this year with the express purpose of doing more content for you guys. I'll be doing more streams from the computer as opposed to the PS4 natively and so forth. Just kind of things to just up the production factor a little bit. Not a lot, just enough. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while. But I want it to be, again, an all-in-one experience for me. The fact that I would be probably getting Windows 10 for that computer, um, it in no way excites me to get at the possibility of getting an Xbox One. I just see no reason for it, and the remote play feature just doesn't appeal to me. But I think it's a good idea. The big one, though, is that they're talking about this initiative of holographic technology, where it's a clear open view glasses, and the imagery will essentially be around you. In other words, it's creating an augmented reality as opposed to a virtual reality. Now, the problem with this HoloLens technology is what's called. I think it is the future. I don't think the technology is there now, no matter what Microsoft might say. I think that a combination of virtual reality technology and holographic augmented reality is where we're going to see it. Like the idea would be to have to have hardware and software that works together, where you've got like lenses that can be dark and be a reflective experience, where you have just this traditional VR kind of display, but it can also become not opaque and then display, your holographic augmented reality. So that's the real future. I think developing both technologies is a very good idea. So again, I say that these are great ideas. I don't think that it's in any way directly competitive with Project Morpheus or the Oculus Rift. I think that at this point it's a gimmick. It's a smart gimmick, but without really serious development, I don't think it's anything to be taken really seriously at this point. Much like the initial iteration of the Kinect. Great idea, and there were some great implementations done with it, and a lot of people still use the devices. But on a mass market, as far as changing the face of how we interface with media, I don't think it's going to make that big of a splash until it is combined with something more, like a traditional virtual reality idea. And put the two together, again, I don't see nothing but good things, especially when it comes to things like CAD and stuff like that. Um, Great ideas, far and wide, and I mean that's awesome, and but it doesn't appeal to me. Microsoft is trying to sell software and hardware, which all companies are doing, but Sony's also working very hard at selling you on service, to the point where PlayStation Now, PlayStation View will not require Sony hardware at all. You can do it on a TV. You can do it on a computer, on a tablet, on a phone, and you're picking the hardware. If you happen to have a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation Vita, the experience is richer for for its own sake. And the same with PlayStation TV in time. Um, Whereas Microsoft is saying you have to have our software if you want to access this feature. You have to have our hardware if you want to access this feature, because tablet manufacturers not gotten to a point where they're saying you can install Android or you can install Windows or you can install this. Um, it may get there at some point. We're not there yet. But right now, you have to have their hardware. That's where I think they're going to lose the consumer. Look at the attach rate for Microsoft phones and Microsoft tablets. They're not very high because there's just too much support and too much freedom in the Android market, and there's too much consumer loyalty with Apple and with the iPhone and so forth, and the iPad, because the iPad being the first major market tablet that really took off. So Microsoft was always going to be in third place there. And I think that arguably may always be there, because I'm not hearing any innovations that'll drive, real consumer growth. But I could be wrong. But the bottom line for me is that it's competition, it's healthy competition, is bringing forth new ideas, and it will force Sony and Oculus and everyone in between to take a close look at what they are doing and maybe integrate some other things they hadn't thought of. It'll push Sony to keep the pricing of any standalone applications or services to be competitive. So I think that it's a really smart move from an industry standpoint, but am I excited for it for its own sake? No. It is at best a meh. Um, I'm good on Microsoft. They're not stagnant, but I wish I had the energy to care beyond the idea of it fostering competition and it giving Microsoft owners something more to experience their content, and I'm grateful for that for them. But it doesn't excite me for the Microsoft quote ecosystem unquote, because there really isn't a Microsoft ecosystem right now. It looks like there is, but there isn't, because there's just disparate departments of the company between mobile, the tablets, the operating system for Windows, and the Xbox as a gaming, which almost bit it last year, if you remember. I don't think that we're in a position where Microsoft's going to be unifying their ecosystem anytime soon. I just don't see it. So I again hope I'm wrong. I don't want to see the demise of Microsoft, because they do foster good competition. They foster, you know, um, thinking. even if their ideas aren't the best, they may inspire someone else to do something better, and that's awesome. So, what do you guys think? Are you at all excited for the HoloLens right now, or do you think it's a future thing? Do you think that this bodes well for the future of Project Morpheus? I think it does because it forces Sony to go to market with their device. Do you think that remote play on Windows 10 is going to be a thing? Are you going to be upgrading to Windows 10? Tell me below. Let's find out what you think. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, keep on grinding.
Knowledge is power.